I am watching Weho Sports.
Hola, están viendo Weho Sports. You are watching Weho Sports.
I am watching Weho Sports.
Tennis court, it's only responsible round.
Hi, my name is Ken Todd. I'm Lisa Vanderpump's husband, the person that carries Jiggy, and I give a good shout out to Weho Sports.
I'm DJ.
This is Jimmy Rollins, and you're watching Weho Sports Show. Thank you very much.
Hey, this is Kiki Hernandez, and you're watching Weho Sports Show.
I'm Justin Turner, and you're watching the Weho Sports Show.
Hi, Weho Sports.
Good evening and welcome to Weho Sports. My name is Raul Alonso and I'm your host. Welcome West Hollywood, La La Land, and around the world to another edition of Weho Sports. We got a very exciting show for you today. We're going to learn a whole lot about pain. I know a lot of us live with pain, but it's been known that athletes can steal more pain than regular people. So for that, we have a very good friend of mine, my Dr. Samimi. How are you?
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's so great to be here.
Fantastic. Let me just read a little bit about your profile a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to blush. Okay.
Dr. Samimi is a board-certified physician who specializes in pain medicine. He grew up in LA, obtained his undergraduate degree at University of California, Berkeley. He came back to Southern California to complete his residency at USC, right by my house. He chose to complete his residency in a place where he knew he could get maximum exposure to a diversity population and wide range of pathologically. Having done your residence here,
Yeah.
I know you come from a family that is well oriented in the medical field. Your mom was a registered nurse, now your sister.
Yeah.
Tell us why USC, why LA?
Well, I grew up in LA. I grew up in the Valley. And like a lot of people that grew up in LA, I couldn't wait to leave. But once I left and saw the rest of the country, I was like, I can't wait to come back home. So I came back home and I wanted to work at County Hospital because I liked the population that I was working with. And I knew that we get to see a lot of crazy stuff and it would be great training.
Well, it's LA. LA is full of crazies.
That's why I love it.
You're the only normal here. Because I'm crazy.
Okay, I'll take it.
But you do a lot of stuff now, and there's new innovations of pain medication.
Yeah.
And I know you got to go back to school constantly to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit now of what's going out there for pain. And
we made a lot of strides. It used to be that the only thing that we could do for pain was give people lots of opiates and morphine, and people have been, these medicines work for pain, but they have a lot of side effects, right? People have been addicted to opiates for pain for long periods of time. Now we have a whole bunch of new stuff. There's different drugs that we can use. There's different techniques. There's different procedures. I know for athletes, we're even starting to use these really new cool stem cells. And even for regular people, stem cells and PRP to inject into different places to let your body heal itself.
right, because one of the people that used stem cells was Kobe Bryant when he got hurt.
In his knee.
Basically some of the athletes where they need 8 weeks to recover, now they're recovering in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that all right for the body, doctor? I mean,
We think so. There's two different ways of doing stem cells, and I think there's still some controversy. Sometimes they take the stem cells from fetal tissue, and there's been success with using fetal tissue, but we don't know what the long-term outcomes are, and there's been some questions of whether or not this could cause cancer in the future. But when we use our own cells, like for PRP, we take blood out. We take out the red blood cells, and we just leave the plasma and the growth factors, and we can inject that into a place that needs help and it tells the blood, hey, come here, come help fix me. So it's very safe. And now we're even starting to use fat, because fat has cells that can turn into anything, and we're even using bone marrow. And they're very safe, maybe even safer than the traditional cortisone that we're using, but unfortunately the insurance companies don't cover it yet, but hopefully soon they will.
I know, because I suffer from a lot of back pain, and that was one of the main reasons why I went to see you, and part of neuropathy. You know, people getting old and stuff, so things start to break down, okay?
It's better than not getting old.
That's very true, very, very true. But you did something for my back.
Yeah.
And it had to be in 2 sessions.
Yeah.
Explain what exactly it was, because I have been feeling much, much better. The pain has been much less. So explain a little bit about what you did, because I know it's a procedure now that when we talked about it, you say it's better to do this than back surgery.
Yeah.
Tell us why. And
well, what we did was there's little nerves in your back from the arthritis in some of the places. People who have been active their whole life, they get arthritis in their lower back. So one way of solving that is to do a big surgery where you put screws in and this, that, and the other. And another way is we burn these very tiny nerves that go to your back. It's an outpatient procedure, and everyone goes home the same day. But the sensory nerves that go to the back, we burn the nerves, and you don't feel the pain for 6 months to a year, and it's just something that you repeat as needed. And if it helps, fantastic. We can get you people taking a lot less medicines, and they can be a lot more active.
it is, because I feel much better.
Yeah.
I'm able to do much things, and of course the biggest thing is not taking those opiates, because I have been taking opiates for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So for me to stop the opiates, I think that was a great thing.
Yeah.
But
it also speaks to your incredible character as a human being.
Thank you, Doc. Sure. I would offer you a drink, but we can't drink and sit. But I know you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the injuries that you have worked through, or the more common. Because like I said earlier, we know when people get older, they can have an injury and they can literally die from that injury if it's not treated right?
Yep. Especially if elderly people get hip fractures, and there's a lot of death associated with hip fractures. And but a lot of what we see is just run-of-the-mill low back pain, neck pain, pain going down the arms from like a pinched nerve in the neck, pain going down the legs from a pinched nerve in the back. A lot of the acute injuries, people come in and they just can't walk because the back is so sore. A lot of injuries to the knees and hips and shoulders. So basically everywhere.
But I think it's a fantastic field that you got in, because there's always going to be pain. A lot of people are going to be having pain through the rest of their lives and things like that.
A lot of pain.
And a lot of people are not giving themselves a chance to try new things.
That's true. There's a lot of stuff out there that can help, especially if people go to doctors, they think that, they're just going to operate on them or this, that, and the other. And, there's a lot of stuff to do in between an operation. Especially that's where some of the stem cells are coming in, and the PRP, we can inject them into the joints, into the hip, the knees, the shoulders. They have pretty good efficacy. They haven't shown to be very effective yet for the back, but there's some promising results that I think will come out.
So tell us the difference between a headache and an injury, the difference of pain.
Like an actual someone just has a headache?
Right.
Okay. I mean, they're all versus like a knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pain is very subjective. For everyone, it's very different, so I try to take the individual for where they are. I mean, there's some people who are very tough that like walk around on broken knees, and then there's some people who have minor headaches once a week and just, their life can't go on. So for everyone has a different level of tolerance for pain. Some people have pain and are still able to maintain a decent mood, and that's the biggest difference. I think people's attitude, thing, I can still do what I want to do. I always encourage people to work around their pain instead of always trying to fix it, because some pains we just can't fix.
Very, very true.
The only people that don't have pain aren't alive, so.
No, we don't want to go there just yet. It's all right with that little pain, but we don't want to go there just yet.
Right.
But, you know, I opened the segment by saying that athletes have a higher tolerance than normal human beings as far as for pain.
Yeah.
And is that all psychological, doctor, or what is it?
It's a couple of things. Like when people have something to keep them busy and they have something in their life that keeps them active, you're able to go and do more and the pain doesn't bother you. When people are depressed or they, are out of work and all you do is sit there and think about your pain, is debilitating. So a lot of these athletes, they have a lot of support system, they have stuff to do, they have training to do. And I think that overall gives them a better ability to cope with pain. They probably have the same pain, it's just coping mechanisms, I think that's the big difference.
Oh, because I remember when I used to play and I used to get hurt, it made me even madder. And I was like, oh, so now you're trying to hurt me, so now I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And I would have gone overboard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the mentality of every sports person that, when it comes down to pain, that's how they deal with it. I don't know.
Some people, they use it as something to pop them up. Also, when you're in the middle of like playing a sport, right, and you get hurt, you have all this adrenaline going through you, so they don't often know how hurt they are until the next day, until you've gone to sleep and all the inflammation has gone crazy, and then they wake up like, I'm dying.
Right. So what about the difference between muscle pain
and nerve pain?
Yeah.
They're different, and there's different treatments for them too. Muscles get torn and you have tendinitis and it hurts. The pain goes to the brain the same way, but the treatments are very different. For nerve pain, we use more nerve pain medicines, and opiates don't seem to work well. For the muscles and for like bone type of pain, the opiates work a little bit better. But also the muscle stuff tends to heal on itself a lot better on its own. Bones tend to heal on their own. They have to be set correctly. The nerve injuries tend to heal, but they take a lot longer to heal. So
even if you're just doing a jogging, it's important for you to warm up, right? And stretch out.
Yeah, the stretching helps.
Because you could just have an injury from that and not be able to go to work.
Not only that, but the stretching allows you to work out a little bit better too. And people tend to be a little bit less sore after stretching before working out.
Is it because you get a better flow of blood going through your blood system that helps, or?
Better flow of blood, and the muscle fibers come together like this. And so if you haven't been like stretching, your muscle fibers are like this. They're really tight. And then when you try to go do anything, it's very tight. But when you stretch out, you get your muscle fibers like this. And then so there's a lot more room to get an exercise. If you overstretch, it's bad. Then you can't really do anything. But if you stretch enough, you get a lot more muscle movement.
So now I understand why we warm up before each game and things like that. But still, a lot of people, either though they warm up, they still get injured.
It's life.
And I wanted to show a picture. I took a picture of you and your colleague. So tell us a little bit about your colleague, because I know he's a great doctor. He's seen me when you were out, when you had your baby.
Yeah.
How's your baby, by the way?
She's good, and I'm brewing another one right now.
Hey! We could be rich here. You heard it right here. Breaking news on Weho Sports. That doctor's going to give birth right here.
I'll come back in 9 months.
9 months? That'd be great.
My partner's great. We actually did our training together. We were at USC together, and then we transferred, did pain training at Cedars-Sinai. And now it's great. We work together. Since we're partners, I always have someone to lean on, and he's a really nice guy. And we just try to treat all of our patients with a lot of respect and kindness, and he does the same thing.
And I was reading all of the comments that people have written up and all of that stuff about you, and I totally agree with their comments.
Oh, it's very nice of you.
Your office has been so professional from everybody, not just you and your colleague. everybody, your sister as a nurse, the minute I get there, everybody treats you right, like, good morning, how you doing? And it's great to walk into an office where you know you are going to be cared for.
Right. Well, also, Raul, you're like a little ray of sunshine, so everyone just loves when you come in.
Everybody just like, oh no, he's coming, let's hide, right?
No?
But it's all right. I take it the way it is.
Yeah.
But no, I love going to visit you guys, not only because you've done a great job taking care of me, but you guys are fun just to talk to you, and you know, we always have great conversations besides you telling me the right stuff on how to take care of myself, and I appreciate that.
Well, people tend to do better when they like their doctor, right? So if you go to someone and you like them and you have a good rapport, people just get better. So I try to make them happy where they are.
And then you do your whole office does a fantastic job, so just want to put it out there.
Well, Raul, I did not know this would be about how great I was.
Hey, I have to throw a little bit of sugar in the tag, right?
Okay, thank you.
So let's see a couple of videos of some real bad injuries that have happened, and then we talk about it.
Sometimes athletes push their bodies a little too far. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horrific sports injuries.
You know, each day I got more confident.
It's hours and hours of torture, but he was there every day, putting in the work and sustaining the pain.
For this list, we're looking at the most horrific and cringeworthy injuries suffered by athletes. However, we're not including injuries resulting in death, nor are we including those injuries suffered as the result of malicious intent, as we already have those covered in our top 10 unsportsmanlike moments in pro sports video. Some of these injuries are extremely graphic, so viewer discretion is advised.
Oh my God, what happened?
Number 10, Trent Mccleary, injury, fractured larynx. Hockey players are some of the most fearless athletes out there. On January 29, 2000, Montreal Canadiens forward Trent Mccleary proved it by dropping to the ice to block a slap shot from Philadelphia Flyers defenseman Chris Therien. The puck hit Mccleary in his throat from only a few feet away, however, fracturing his larynx and causing a collapsed lung.
They dislocated my jaw and opened my airway so some air could get in.
Mccleary was minutes away from dying on the ice, but the medical staff at the Montreal Arena was able to partially open his airway, and he was rushed to hospital for an emergency tracheotomy so time-sensitive, Mccleary was still in his skates during the procedure. But the operation saved his life.
Would I have done anything different? No. And I can sleep at night with that fact.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
Holy
this
shit.
man almost died. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because when I saw that clip, I was like you. I'm like, holy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know how sharp the skates are in hockey, and I'm surprised that there's not a lot more injuries that people end up losing their lives.
Yeah.
You know, but what would you do in this case? Like, he had this big injury. I know he had to go through a lot of pain.
Right.
How would you manage something like this? Or it varies from people to people?
It varies from people to people, but I mean, like, what he did there, they did everything correctly. They immediately opened up his airway because getting air into your lungs is very important. 9 out of 10 doctors agree breathing is important.
I can attach myself to the doctor.
The other guys are real assholes. Anyhow, they did the right thing. They opened up his airway. I'm sure they put a tube in there. But these athletes, since they get injured so much, they can generally just walk off their injuries. A larynx injury isn't so bad, pain-wise. Just not having enough oxygen, that hurts.
Just almost died. That's about it, right?
But there was a guy before that named Sean Livingston. He's amazing. He was in the NBA and he hurt his knee, eventually left the NBA, and no one comes back. He came back 3 or 4 years later and won a championship.
Right.
Did well.
Sometimes athletes push their bodies a little too far. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10
I think
horrific
he's
sports
farther
injuries.
down if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. I remember his injury and the process of him going, because I know when I played pro and I had an injury, I had to go to a similar thing like that, you know, and it's a matter of...
Raul, what did you play, man?
I played professional soccer.
Did you?
I play, yeah. When I was young and beautiful, I played professional soccer.
Well, since you're still young and beautiful, do you still play?
I don't. You know why? Because now I got all these complications as far as osteoporosis.
Yeah.
And being a goalkeeper, it has really scared the living lights out of me that I'm going to die and leave my hip there.
Yeah.
You know, and I have my good run. I mean, I hate it because I would love to go and play with the gay team. They just had a tournament in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were calling me. It's like, come on, let's go play. And I wanted to go play so bad, but...
Goalies have great gloves.
Yeah, that was my thing.
By your hip.
My thing was, you know, I'm worried more, and the other, my status.
Yeah.
You know, if people don't know and I bleed and all of that stuff, I could put people at danger. So, so a combination of both things, I think it made me realize and done that. So, but I think here is the story we were looking for.
Number 6, Kevin Ware, injury, broken tibia.
Coach Prince kind of gave me one of those looks.
I don't...
Like somebody just saw a ghost or something like that.
It's one thing when a professional athlete suffers a horrible injury, but it's truly tragic when it happens at the college level to young athletes who are not even earning any money.
Oh my goodness. That is a gruesome looking injury to Kevin Ware.
On March 31st, 2013, Louisville Cardinals guard Kevin Ware suffered one of the most gruesome injuries you will ever see in an Elite 8 game against the Duke Blue Devils. Ware attempted to block a three-point shot, but when he landed, he snapped his tibia, which resulted in the bone protruding out of his shin.
Look at the bench.
The players on the bench and fans in the first few rows were visibly shaken after seeing the extent of the injury, as was the entire internet when the clip went viral.
How do you deal with something like this, Doc?
A big mallet. Just knock them out on their head.
Because, I mean, I was in a situation like that where my brother, we were playing, and his feet was so small that it went into one of those sprinkler things.
Yeah.
And his body went one way and his leg was the other way. And after that, it was like the whole team was just traumatized.
Yeah.
Just seeing, you know, and you're hopeless. You can't do basically anything. So, like this athlete, they came back later on to play. So the majority of these athletes have come back and play. There's a story about a soccer player that broke both of his legs, comes back to win championships.
Wow.
So those are the stories that I was talking about, where I believe that your heart and all of that helps you get through the pain. And if you love the sport, I think that, you know, you will do whatever it takes to get there, right?
You do. I think that we also don't take into consideration for these people that they have a great support system.
Right.
And a great support system allows people to thrive.
Right, because in that instance, like you said in college, okay, they're not getting paid.
No.
But just the support system that they have with all the medicals and stuff, I'm sure that the college wasn't going to just leave it hanging and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't leave it hanging, yeah.
So, because that wouldn't be good for the college and stuff. So, but let's look at this soccer one, and then we'll talk, and you can tell me about this
Number 5,
athlete.
Djibril Cissé. Injury, broken tibia and fibula. Some people have the worst luck, and while Djibril Cissé is a football star, we'd still say he has some bad luck, as he broke both of his legs in the span of less than 2 years. The first incident came on October 30th, 2004, while he was playing for Liverpool, when Cissé's boot got caught in the turf, snapping the tibia and fibula in his left leg. An injury that was supposedly so serious, the athlete easily could have lost his leg below the knee. Then, while playing for France in a warm-up game against China on June 7th, 2006, Cissé's right boot got caught in the turf once again, resulting in another nasty broken leg.
The kick to the back of the leg, and it had broken right there, and Cissé's World Cup is done.
Amazingly, Cissé recovered from both injuries and scored more than 50 goals over 2 seasons from 2009 to 2011.
Wow. Cissé! And they've got it back to 2 apiece. It's another header From close range, Jibril Cisse scores against his former club.
So what would it drive an athlete to go through this?
They have a lot of heart.
Two broken legs.
They have a lot of heart.
In less than 2 years.
It shows a lot of heart that he was willing to come back and keep training through. But I mean, I'm afraid to say that this is all just their fortitude and how strong of a human being they are that are doing this, because there's some people who have really bad injuries that can't come back from them no matter how hard they try. So some people are just lucky that their bodies can get to, comes together well. Mm-hmm. But it does always take that energy and the positive outlook that things are going to be okay. If you think that things are going to be okay and you work towards that, they probably will be. If you think that everything is going to be a disaster, then everything's going to be a disaster and you won't get better. Wow. You thought you were going to get better, and you did.
I was going to say, and you did. I was hoping you were going to say, and you did. But no, you threw a nice curveball there. I like it. So what's new on medications and stuff right now? I know now that California has passed the weed now. A lot of athletes and other employees, I don't know if your own employees have asked you, could they smoke weed now?
So the weed is tricky. There's these new forms of marijuana that I believe the Israelis found. But it's CBD. They took out the hallucinogenic parts of the marijuana and just put in the parts that help with pain. So allegedly, and some patients tell me that they do not get stoned at all, but they just get pain relief. Some people say that they do get stoned, but there's no major manufacturer that's making CBD yet, so we don't know if what you're getting from a dispensary is real CBD or if it's not. So once they have real manufacturers making it and we have the FDA looking at it and saying this is all pure CBD, this may be a great alternative for people. Otherwise, people smoke pot and that can help too. I think that the pot helps with the pain. It also helps with the emotional reaction to pain. So there's two components to pain. One is the pain that is created, and the second is the brain's reaction to it. So if the brain gets really excited and says, oh my God, this hurts, then you just feel more and more pain.
Right.
But if you're calm and you're like, okay, I feel the pain, but I'm not going to get really excited, you experience less pain. So I think that people who are a little bit stoned care a little bit less, so it doesn't emotionally affect them as much. But it can be quite effective. Especially for people with neuropathy, say that they experience a lot of positive side effects or positive effects from the CBD.
Because I was prescribed Meridol.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between Meridol and the marijuana? If it's supposed to be doing the same thing at the end of the day, right?
It is, but so in marijuana or in the CBD, there's not just the THC, which is the active ingredient. There's a whole bunch of other substances in there that we think all act together, which is why different strains can cause different symptoms for people. Marinol just takes a THC and just concentrates that. So people can get really stoned, from what I understand, from the Marinol. So that's a major difference.
And it makes you eat a lot.
Yeah, a lot of what we use it for is to get people to start eating.
And now that I lost all this weight, I don't want to gain any weight, doctor.
No mas.
But no mas. Thank you for coming.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
It has flies so fast, doc. You got to come another day and we'll talk about what you're doing with yourself and your baby.
Okay.
Is he giving you headaches and you need some of the medical marijuana for that? But we'll discuss that next time when the doctor comes and see us. So meanwhile, stay tuned. See you next week. Same channel, same place. Probably not the same people. Hasta la vista. Adios. Sayonara. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Hey man, that was great.
Thank you.
That was a half hour?
You see how that flies fast?
That's so fast.
I know.
Oh my God, you're great.
So, no, what?
Look at all that research you did.
I had to. I always do this kind of research. I have a guess. I have to do the research.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get on camera and go live and be like, what do I